Boa tarde, senhores. Atrasei um teco. Eu vou começar isso aqui às 6 horas. Agora deu certo. Da última vez não tinha dado, beleza. Eu ia começar isso aqui às 6 horas, porém imprevistos ocorreram de natureza temporal e emocional, então eu tive que dar um timezinho, né? Antes de entrar na live. Mas agora estamos
Peace
aqui.
prevails throughout the land, and all things are made new, as buds in the spring. This is an auspicious era for humanity.
Esperar só um tempinho pra ver se haverão qualquer mais imprevisto na live, pra ver a galera entrando. Ô, bosta. Aí, terminando isso aqui, a gente já parte pro evento das lanternas. Que tá... Ô, cacete. Não, tá certo. Tá certo. Que vai ser o jambalaya dessa live mesmo, né? Ela vai ser uma live mais curtinha, porque provavelmente eu só vou estar fazendo o início do evento, né? Porque vocês sabem, os eventos eles começam a liberar tudo parcialmente. Então, muito provavelmente vai ser uma live curta que eu só vou fazer praticamente isso que eu tô fazendo agora, que são as diárias, para dar um tempinho, né? E de resto, o Festival das Lanternas. Único e puramente. Dar uma entradinha aqui e ver se tá tudo correndo bem. Eu tentei botar a live em 60 FPS, só que eu recebi vários avisos de que o gameplay ia travar ao decorrer. Então eu acabei optando em manter pelo 720p mesmo. Porque perder um pouquinho de qualidade no vídeo para ter um benefício maior para ter um desempenho melhor, né? No final, a gente perde qualidade, ganha qualidade de vídeo e ganha no desempenho. Eu achei que foi mais sensato. Eu reparei que meu áudio, ele tá um pouco abafado, mas eu imagino que seja por causa da qualidade do microfone mais que outra coisa, porque meu quarto, ele é bem aerado, então era pro áudio tá fazendo eco, né, se fosse qualquer coisa. E também porque... Eu esqueci o que eu ia falar. E também por causa do barulho do equipamento, né, porque o PS4, vocês já sabem, como vocês bem sabem, ele não é uma máquina muito silenciosa, né. Bom, Caralho, tem um hidróculos aqui, mano. Eu já passei aqui 1 zilhão de vezes, cara. Se uma cobra tinha me mordido. Tem uma cobra na minha bota. Tem uma bota da minha cobra. Aham. Ai, Deus. É, tá bom, meu querido. Eu gosto muito do fato de você estar tentando disseminar o refrigerante em Tivate, mas... Tá certo, essa aqui é a última, imagino eu. Depois dessa a gente já parte pro evento. A gente já parte pro suprassumo do conteúdo. Nossa, achei que era isso, não, tem mais uma. Cadê? Aqui. Eu posso te ver como é que tá a build do meu de look? Faz tanto tempo que eu não... Nossa, eu não terminei de upar ele desde aquela época, pelo amor de Deus. Faz muito tempo que eu tô devendo esse de look, mano, muito tempo.
Quietly now. Game's up. Time's over. Scatter! Skyward!
That was
Great clouds converge!
time for tingle retribution! I got careless.
Gotcha!
I wasn't done.
Things are about to get dicey. Seize the skies! Quietly now.
Catapimbas. Agora é a hora. É a hora, senhores. O erro é que ele vai acabar dando um... a gente não fez a missão, mas tudo bem, não tem problema, não faz tanta falta. Falaram que a gente vai ganhar um game nesse evento, né? Pra quem aí não pegou o game, é uma ótima oportunidade. Pra quem já pegou, aí mesmo uma constelação pra galera. Sempre bom, né? O povo tá sempre aí comparando também a dualidade, né, entre o Genshin e o Honkai. Mas é tudo a mesma companhia, gente, mas são coisas diferentes, são setores diferentes, tá, da mesma companhia. Por isso que o Honkai, o que acontece no Genshin não acontece no Honkai, o que acontece no Honkai não acontece no Genshin.
Ad Astra. Thank you for completing.
Nossa, faz tanto tempo que eu não completava esse trem Liu, mano. Eu tô pensando fortemente, mano, porque tipo... em trocar meu time, porque eu tenho preguiça de usar o Bennett. Eu acostumei tanto com o Rio da Kokomi, mano, que no fim do dia eu acabo... Pra lá.
After all these years is quite a feat.
Na verdade, Charlotte apareceu, né?
Charlotte! Paimon never thought she'd see you two together.
Nice to see you again, Traveler and Paimon.
Oh, we're not interrupting anything, are we?
Not at all. I wasn't in the middle of an interview or anything. I was just asking Miss Kuching about purchasing a kite.
A kite? Are you buying some regional specialties to bring back to Fontaine?
Well, yes. And...
It seems you haven't heard yet. The theme of this year's Lantern Rite is kites.
Pipa.
Oh, so that's why Paimon has seen so many floating in the sky.
Ah, é as pipeiras de
Liyue
plantão,
Harbor
ó.
is always changing, so it is only fitting that Lantern Rite should change in turn. The
Evidão.
Qixing believes it would benefit Liyue to build on our own cultural foundation by embracing the technologies of other nations. After all, it is said that the stones of another mountain may serve to better polish one's own jade.
Ah,
So, Ningguang
O velho
organized a
provérbio.
private meeting with Miss Charlotte to ask for her help in fostering cooperation with the right people. In the end, we decided to combine Liyue's traditional art of kite making with Fontaine's mechanical vertical lifting device.
Mechanical lifting device? Sounds pretty impressive.
chama elevador, né?
But
Aparentemente.
don't kites just use the wind to fly? Why would you need to add something mechanical?
Well, you've actually just answered your own question, Paimon. How high and far a kite can fly depends as much on the weather conditions as on the skill of the person holding the string.
But as soon as there's no wind, you can only flail about helplessly like a sweet flower medaka out of water. Experience doesn't matter at that point.
Exactly. Liyue is now a nation ruled by humans after all. It's about time we had the power to make a kite fly, don't you think?
Graças a Deus, né?
Plus, the easier we can make it to enjoy, the more people will want to participate.
É justo, tava na hora de parar de viver luz de vela, né, mano?
Right? I also thought it was a novel idea. Plus, it shouldn't cost much to do.
With Miss Charlotte's help, everything has gone smoothly. Our new mechanical kites are already available to purchase from a stall in the harbor. We're having trouble keeping up with demand. We also gave quite a bit of thought to the price. We didn't want it to be too much more expensive than a traditional kite.
That's fair.
Cool! Turns out you two and Ningguang like playing with toys just as much as Paimon!
Toys? They're not exactly toys.
É, sim.
You see, Miss Kuching? That does seem to be everyone's first reaction.
Although kites are one of our most time-honored cultural relics, outside of their use in certain ceremonies, I suppose they're considered playthings more than anything now. But to me, there's so much more than that. Think for a second about how remarkable it is that a flimsy paper kite attached to a string has the capacity to touch the sky. It is this light piece of paper that also carries the weight of Liyue's cultural traditions. There's an old poem that goes, "O kite born of paper, flying true in sound, a lone traveler wanders, just waiting to be found." In the past, poets from Liyue used kites to symbolize a feeling of longing, or evoke the peacefulness of idyllic rural scenery. If the people of today can derive enjoyment from this activity, they will not only be more likely to better appreciate the tradition, but also to pass it down to the people of tomorrow.
That's the Kuching we know, always thinking 5 steps ahead of anyone else.
Well said, Miss Kuching. I've learned quite a bit myself.
As long as you're willing to listen, I'm happy to share. I
Nossa, já
also
foi dois
know quite a
poemas,
lot
querida.
about the various folk traditions related to kites. For example, whenever a kite blew away, People would say it was the Adepti that summoned the wind to take it away as an offering. That way, you can turn an unfortunate event into an auspicious
Pra
one.
criança não chorar, né,
What
mano?
about something more fun? Do you know anything like that?
Chamou de chata na cara.
Fun. Let me think. Oh, I suppose we should first talk about how kites are made. It's another one of our precious forms of traditional craftsmanship.
Papel, cola,
My
espeto,
grandfather told me
churrasco.
that back when he was a boy, children learned the art of kite making step by step from their elders. First, you use the thin strips of bamboo to construct the frame. Then, you draw a design of your choice on a piece of paper, paste it onto the frame, and tie on the string. Then, you look towards the sky and release the kite to soar among the clouds.
Esperar
Some
secar é
people
bom
write
também.
down certain names or desires on their kites, cut the string, and let them fly free. Others may place particular thoughts or meaning into the design itself.
Are certain designs associated with certain meanings? I'm gonna jot all of this down.
Normalmente o que acontece.
Well, for example, kites in the shape of a butterfly typically symbolize freedom, happiness, or the desire to break free.
Fascinating. What else can you tell me?
The scissor-tailed swallow is the most classic design. It symbolizes good fortune and joyful tidings. Different colors also have small variations
É uma
in
pomba,
meaning.
minha querida.
Are these
Andorinha
commonly understood meanings and symbols in Liyue? Kind of like the language of flowers in Fontaine.
I believe so. Most have probably heard something about it from their elders at some point. If you're interested, Miss Charlotte, I have several books on the topic that I could lend you. They could be a useful reference.
That would be a huge help! Great! Looks like I've got the outline for quite the article on my hands.
Perfect! We're gonna take a look around.
Then I'll show Miss Charlotte to my home for a little while. I almost forgot.
Já estamos
The
nesse nível
Ministry
já,
of Civil
senhora?
Affairs is hosting a kite flying contest on the night of Lantern Rite. If you're interested, you're more than welcome to bring a kite and participate. The rules are simple. Whoever flies their kite the highest and furthest within the time limit will receive a special honor along with a secret prize.
Desculpa, eu não tenho o andarilho pra empinar, cara.
Already prepared more than enough empty film for the event. I can see the spectacle already.
Oh, Paimon was on board the moment you said secret prize.
Then I'll look forward to seeing your performance.
Mano, se eu tivesse um andarilho, cara, nós amarrava um barbantinho no pé dele, mano, e mandava o cara, falava, vai, voa, chapéu de paia.
Wait, Traveler? Take a peek to your right. Do you see those two people lurking over there?
Tô
Is it
vendo.
just Paimon? Or were they staring at us the whole time we were talking to Kuching and Charlotte just now? They seemed fishy. Great, so it wasn't just Paimon. Do you think they could be treasure hoarders? They always seem to be stirring up trouble during Lantern Rite. Oh, Paimon's sick of waiting around for something bad to happen. We should strike first, you know. Foil their plans before they even begin. You go right, Paimon will go left.
Caralho. O corrupião se deleita com a e também, né? Também você quebra, né, colega? O título provavelmente maior que o evento, mano. Lembranças tóxicas, cara, desse palco no ano passado, velho. Lembranças bem tóxicas, mano. Quem não fez o evento das 10 do ano passado foi poupado. E, tipo, eles perderam algo incrível, mas eles foram poupados do sofrimento ao mesmo tempo, cara. Porque, porra. Pensa no moleque que sofreu, cara. Vamos ver o que esse moleque tem pra falar.
Skyward! Scatter!
Tá bom, todo dia a gente vive e aprende, né, mano? Aí, ó. Pra quem tava curioso, sim, você consegue pisar na sombrinha do teto.
Oh,
Hello.
It is with such an air of urgency that you appear before us. Your comportment suggests you believe us to have committed some heinous crime. Perhaps you could enlighten us as to your intentions.
Esse cara é o dublador do Zé Norte? Esse cara é o dublador do Zé Norte, mano?
Whoa, where did this fuddy-duddy come from?
Ah.
You should be the one doing the enlightening, buddy. Don't think we didn't notice you eavesdropping. One look and we could tell you were up to no good. Tell us everything, starting with your name.
Os caras têm umas
One
mexinhas,
bears
mano.
no secrets before two such as yourselves. You stand in the presence of the mighty and illuminated Adeptus, Moon Carver.
É mesmo? Os caras deram um avatar aleatório pro maluco, mano. Só a Retentora ganhou o tratamento personagem 5 estrelas, cara.
For the purpose of this foray into the mortal realm, however, you may address one as Hojong.
Tá de sacanagem com a minha porra da minha fuça, né, mano? Que os caras, tipo, só tacaram skin nos mob aleatórios e tacaram os adéticos em cima deles, mano.
You kidding? That deer's got his head stuck so far up in the clouds, there's no way he'd humble himself down here with the rest of us.
You may want to hold your tongue, Paimon.
Don't think that Paimon is gonna believe you just because you know her name. Let Paimon guess, you're supposed to be Mountain Shaper, right?
Indeed. Mooncarver and myself have descended upon the mortal realm for a visit. The two of you may call me Jiavu.
Huh. Looks like you did your research. But in our experience, the harder you try to lead us on, the more likely it is that we've got a big fish on our hands. We'll go straight to the Millilith and have you arrested for impersonating a deaf guy.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
Tá bom. Os caras têm uma mecha verde, tchau. É isso, tá bom. Não precisa de mais muita
And it
coisa.
better not be some common knowledge that any person on the street could tell you.
During the last Lantern Rite, we gathered at Mount Hulau with Rex Lapis and made use of Cloud Retainer's supreme cuisine machine to prepare bamboo shoot soup. Perhaps you have some recollection?
Caralho,
The
não
flavor
vai
of that soup was more than enough to whet one's appetite. As such, Cloud Retainer assented to my use of the device beyond that singular occasion, providing other recipes to boot. Since then, one has dabbled in the pleasures of the culinary arts whenever time allows.
Dabbled? Upon one's last sojourn to your mountain, did you not immediately attempt to hide the device behind a chunk of amber as soon as one's presence was known?
Did one not speak up on your behalf but a moment ago? This is how you choose to repay that kindness?
One is simply trying to emphasize the veracity of our claim.
That does not mean you should reveal personal matters so readily. They might think one bears no difference from Cloud Retainer. Forget it. One does not have the breath to waste on such petty trifles.
Tá certo.
That might have been more detail than we needed. Seems like you two are the real deal, and Paimon's sorry for suspecting you. But, for beings as forgiving as yourselves, this is just...
You indeed have an agile mind.
Ah.
Cloud Retainer was not mistaken in her high estimation of you.
Agora vou ter que fazer a quest primeiro, né, mano?
Something. It's just... Paimon can understand why Mountain Shaper is here, but why did you decide to come to the city, Mooncarver? It's not really your thing, is it?
It is but an inevitable eventuality.
Oh.
Long have the mountains remained strangely idle since Cloud Retainer's move to Liyue Harbor. With Lantern Rite near at hand, one would expect Cloud Retainer to provide us with an account of the festivities in advance. Yet to this day, she has failed to appear.
Provavelmente da quest que ela veio pra cá, né? Porque ela virou humana.
The forgetful sort.
One must never rest idle in the face of that which demands action. And since our acquaintances dwell in Liyue Harbor, we had to travel here in human form to avail ourselves of their aid. Cloud Retainers in this case.
But a moment ago, one heard you speak of a mechanical kite of sorts. It appears the essence of the situation has hitherto revealed itself. Now, it is time for one to retire back to one's abode.
Huh. So, you're not looking for...
Perhaps there are aspects of Cloud Retainer's temperament that remain opaque to young Paimon. Given one's understanding, one can only imagine the anger that now consumes her.
Cloud Retainer is of a proud and arrogant disposition. She holds the belief that her skill in mechanics surpasses that of all others. One can be quite certain it is hardly with an open mind that she regards the arrival of this new technology.
Ah, ela ia
One
odiar a Fontaine,
surmises
então.
that she has shut herself away, refused all company, and buried herself in the study of her own creations. To call on her would only invite her rebuke.
Ah,
However, if you do happen to cross paths with her over the next few days, do pass along one's regards.
Sure, leave it to us. Have a safe trip back, enjoy the scenery, and happy lantern ride!
Thank you for your kind words. We shall now depart.
bom.
We got all worked up for nothing, huh? All that trouble and it turned out to be people we knew all along. Well, it's still pretty early. Let's head up. Paimon wants to see what kinds of kites we can buy to use in the competition. The bigger and prettier, the better.
Eu acho que vai se tornar necessário fazer a quest da retentora primeiro. O problema é, faz tanto tempo... A realidade é, né? Não é problema, é a realidade. Como vocês podem ver, eu não dou muita atenção pra quest de personagem. Então, por causa disso... Ainda me falta uma chave pra eu liberar. Ah, é uma chave só que usa? Ah, tá. A chave que eu usava 3. Caguei. Então, prioridades, galera. Prioridades. Já que lançou tudo junto, né? Acho que um dia mais, um dia menos. Começar o evento hoje, começar o evento amanhã. Já que eu sou o único espectador da minha própria live, aparentemente. Não vai dar muita diferença. Então...
Take a day off from adventuring and just find somewhere nice to relax. Let Paimon think. Where are some nice places we could go? Oh, why don't we pay Cloud Retainer a visit at Mount Outsong? It's been a while since we last saw that illuminated bird. She's always the one popping up out of nowhere and scaring us half to death. So let's surprise her this time.
Tem muita quest que eu tenho que fazer ainda de personagem. Muita quest.
Here we are, right outside her place. Do you still remember the first time we came here? We even brought offerings and everything. And when we told her that Rex Lapis had been assassinated, she immediately threatened to squash Liyue Harbor. Paimon thought she'd be impossible to get along with. But now that we've spent some more time together, she's really not like that at all. We probably don't need to bring any offerings now that we've gotten to know her pretty well, right? Still, Paimon's got some snacks around here somewhere, so if she really wants something, we can just use that. Huh? Traveler, did something catch your eye? Whoa.
Oh.
What a pretty lady.
Caralho, mano.
Is she also here to visit Cloud Retainer?
Se fosse eu ia começar a falar com o pássaro, velho. O ave tá do lado dela, mano. Se fosse eu ia começar a falar com o passarinho, certeza, cara. Do jeito que eu sou lerdo, mano.
Yeah, you're right. All it takes is one look and you can tell she's someone special. As expected of that bird lady, really. She must have a whole bunch of Adepti friends from all over the country.
Acho muito engraçado que olha a cara dela, mano. A Resting Face. Me lembra um pouco a Resting Face do Diluc, saca? Com aquela primeira decepção lá, 3 anos atrás. Tipo assim, a cara do Diluc de descanso era completamente diferente da artwork.
Okay, but if we're both friends of Cloud Retainer, then we're basically friends by association, right?
No.
Helping you make more connections is a part of Paimon's job as your reliable guide. Paimon's got this.
Tá com o Paimon, tá com o Arconte, né, mano? Tá certo.
Hello.
Tarde.
Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. Paimon doesn't think we've met, but we're all also friends of Cloud Retainer. May we have the pleasure of learning your name, Madam Adeptus?
You two... What is this
Porra.
tomfoolery? Has the shift in form so clouded your eyes that you no longer recognize one anymore?
A última vez que eu te vi, você tinha um bico.
Wait, you're... Huh? You're the illuminated bird?
Bico.
But you look human! How did that happen?
Ai, o Mora que já fez isso 88 vezes.
Though donning human form is scarcely any test of one's abilities. As for your confusion, one merely had no reason to indulge such inclinations before.
So, you're indulging now because...
Well, one has made plans to pay a visit to some disciples at Liyue Harbor. Taking on a human form for such a trip is simply a way to make matters less conspicuous.
Debatível. Debatível. Inclusive, acho que ir como pássaro seria mais discreto, mas tudo bem.
You? Worrying about keeping a low profile? You're the one who likes to pop up out of nowhere all over the place. In fact, Paimon can think of several examples. Like last year, when you suddenly appeared on the top of a roof without any warning. Or...
Ha!
Hey, didn't we agree not to bring that up unless she asked?
Shiu.
Oh,
Segue o pai.
so you have taken care to follow the proper rules of etiquette after all. Most commendable.
Well, this is all Paimon's got. You don't mind, right?
Deus. Deus. Aí também passar vergonha é foda,
One has
mesmo.
never found oneself lacking in basic comforts. On the contrary, it is the gesture that one values above all else. So long as you've shown proper...
That kinda makes Paimon feel a little guilty for trying to keep them for herself. Anyway, where were we before you reminded Paimon about the gifts? Right. So by disciples, you must mean Ganyu and Shenhe. It's also been a while since we last saw them. Maybe we can come too.
One planned to extend the invitation even if you had not raised the matter yourself.
Nossa.
Shenhe and Ganyu
Porra.
should be quite pleased to see you again.
Eu vou mandar uma carta, mano.
However, one would first inquire as to the reason behind your visit here. You have cause to seek one's company?
Yeah, we just found ourselves missing you and wanted to see how you were doing. We were hoping you'd tell us one of your stories. Who knew we'd run into your human form while we were at it?
Is that so? If there are no urgent matters at hand, then let us make haste for Liyue Harbor. Ganyu is likely still working at Yuehai Pavilion, so that shall be our first stop.
Sounds great! Then let's all go to Liyue Harbor!
E lá vamos nós. 1000 km sobre o luar.
Ganyu has been quite...
Eu tenho uma mania de pular diálogo, mano, porque eu fuço nas coisas, cara.
Shenhe has also
Ah, yeah.
secured employment recently. In her correspondence with me, she wrote that she shall have no need to return for the foreseeable future. Did they think one was so easily mollified? One shall
Ela tá
investigate
carente.
everything with one's own eyes and decide for oneself if their living conditions are satisfactory.
Ela tá carente, gente. É a síndrome do menino vazio que chama, né, cara? Ó, vamos poupar as forças, né, mano? Sempre a mesma história, véi. Eu venho por cima, cai e morro.
We're almost at Weihai Pavilion. Hey, do you think Ganyu will be shocked to see Cloud Retainer like this?
Provavelmente. Não, ela vai estar chocada de ver a retentora, não dessa forma
No
necessariamente.
idea if Shenhe and Ganyu have ever seen her in this form before. Wait, where did she go? Why are you just standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Para apressar,
Quietly
Paimon.
now.
Deixa.
One shall stay here. You two can go and meet with her.
Why?
But why? Isn't it better if we all go together?
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganyu would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied and drop everything to attend to one's visit. One fears that would only result in her staying up all night to make up for lost time.
Oh.
One does not wish to trouble her. Conversing vicariously via you two shall suffice. Do remember to inquire as to her recent well-being. Again, do not mention one's presence here.
Why?
Fair enough. Makes
Why
sense.
though?
Alright then, we'll just pass on your regards and...
Cloud Retainer?
Haha! Deus escreve certo por linhas tortas, né, mano?
Oh!
Sentiu o cheiro lá de longe.
Is that lady someone you know, Ms. Ganyu?
She is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming meeting for a little bit? I believe my schedule today is quite full. Although, perhaps I could move some work to later in the evening.
Coitado, hein, mano.
Not to worry, Ms. Ganyu. I'll make the necessary arrangements right away.
Thank you, Huixin.
It's been a while, Ganyu!
Greetings. What brings you here today? And Cloud Retainer, too. It's been quite some time since I last saw you in this form.
You are quite mistaken. One is not acquainted with this Cloud Retainer of whom you speak.
Pelo
One
amor
is
de Deus.
simply a mere mortal passerby.
Aham, pelo amor de Deus. Faça vergonha não, querida. Não precisa disso.
Seems she's not buying it.
That was but a simple test. One did not expect you to be able to recognize one so easily, especially after so many years of only seeing one's other form.
Até ela é metade adeptos, né, querida? Tipo assim. Ganho tá passada. Quão ruim você acha que minha memória é? A Ganho tá passada é bom, gente.
But recognizing you is, my responsibility as your disciple.
É isso que você tá dizendo?
An apt observation. One was simply passing by while attending to some important business. One thought it would only be fitting to pay you a visit while in the area.
Ixi, eu já tava acabando com
Wait,
tudo, né?
Paimon wasn't aware of any important... Cloud Retainer's
Boa,
right.
Paimon.
We've still got something super important to do, so we can't stay here for too long today.
Oh, is that so? But it's been so long since we last saw each other.
One simply desired to see you and had no intention of interrupting your
Aê,
work.
sinceridade, pô.
Quick conversation should suffice for today. A more involved reunion should wait until you find yourself less occupied.
I understand. That should be fine.
While one acknowledges the amount of work that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. Though Adepti blood flows through your veins, excessive exhaustion will still cause grave harm to your body. It still makes one nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and independent. When you were young, you oft begged one to cuddle you to sleep when you suffered from nightmares.
Cloud Retainer! Stop!
É criança, mano, relaxa.
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain from going into each and every story. Why don't you continue your conversation? One shall simply stand by and listen.
Falar o quê, pô?
Wow, you've been to so many new places since the last time we spoke. If you ever need anything, please just come find me at Yue High Pavilion. Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer, but if you plan to continue appearing in this form, Don't you think it'd be helpful to adopt a human name?
É um bom
A
ponto.
human name? Huh. You raise a valid point. Considering the sheer extent of one's renown, Cloud Retainer is surely too recognizable as a name.
You really think so? Not that you're not famous or anything, but that famous?
You
Ué.
presume to know the extent of one's illustrious achievements.
Oh.
One would hardly think such a thing to be possible. Nevertheless, Ganyu's advice cannot be ignored. From this point on, when in public occasions, be sure to refer to one as Shenyun.
Canyon?
I assume that's a reference to the full record of Pristine Pavilion. An adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and wise, free and unfettered. The writer referenced Master's name to describe her carefree and spontaneous nature.
Oh, that sounds super cool! Paimon feels like only the most powerful of Adepti could rise with the clouds and rest with the moon.
Actually, those lines were originally written to describe Cloud Retainer herself.
Aí, ó.
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
Tá duvidando, pô? Oxe.
And what of it? Did you truly take one to be nothing more than a bird of bigger than average size?
Not exactly.
To be fair, Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments. The tales of her past can only be found in ancient texts. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe drought in Liyue. Left with no choice, many people left their homes, while others spent day and night praying to the Adepti. Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about it is enough to gain a visceral understanding of all the pain and desperation during that time. On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the land. If not for Cloud Retainer's efforts, much of Liyue would be nothing more than a barren wasteland today. The books had this to say about what happened. Upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds. Immediately, the clouds gathered together, and abundant rain burst forth from the heavens. Drought and plague were both driven away, and the people were saved.
Wow, that's incredible!
Mortal records add embellishments to dramatize past events. One did merely what one ought, and even if one had not interceded, the other Adepti would surely have stepped in to help.
Será?
Even so, you stopped an entire drought! Can you really control the weather like the book said? Oh, Paimon suddenly has a lot more respect for you. So it was Paimon's bad for calling you Illuminated Bird before. You're not too bad,
Illuminated bird.
are you?
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through the world. Why would one be offended by such a trivial matter?
That's a relief. In that case, Paimon will continue to call you whatever feels right in the moment.
No.
Well, that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Have you any thoughts on her workplace? And what, pray tell, of her monthly remuneration?
É carregando
Moreover,
pedra.
does she find herself overly inundated with work? Is she allowed time off during Lantern Rite?
É a mãe, né, mano?
Is a lot of questions.
É a mãe, né, fi? Tem que ser. Tá
There is
certo
no
ela.
cause for concern, Cloud Retainer. I introduced Shenhe to her employer personally. Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently. So, with Chef Mao being swamped with customers, and Shangling still off and out in search of new recipes, I introduced
Ah, ela
Shenhe
tá
to staff the
restaurando no
restaurant.
restaurante. Ela...
I
Caralho.
see. Most excellent indeed. One has had the pleasure of being introduced to that family. Shangling is kind and astute, while her father is loyal and reliable. One has no cause to believe that they will make Shenhe's work difficult. Now, it is almost time to partake in the victuals of noon. One shall visit Wanmin Restaurant in person and see how Shenhe is doing.
Huh? But Didn't you just say that you had something important to do?
Can that wait until after we've eaten?
You may return to your work, Ganyu. One shall see to this matter on one's own. There will be many an occasion to dine together
Também
in the future.
adeptos, né? Vai
One
viver
is
mais uns
certain
1000
the
anos aí
opportunity shall
brincando.
present itself most readily.
Of course, Cloud Retainer. Please take care. Traveler, Paimon, I'll see you some other time.
See you around, Ganyu! Phew. Paimon was pretty quick on the uptake there, don't you think? As soon as you mentioned important business to attend to, Paimon realized that you were just looking to cut the conversation short and not take too much of Ganyu's time. Is Paimon right?
No, in fact, it was not an excuse. One is indeed visiting Liyue Harbor for an important purpose.
Wait, for real?
The moment is not yet upon us. Still, the truth will be revealed to you in time.
Tá bom.
She really seems to be playing up the whole mysterious Adeptus thing right now. Is it because we just heard that cool story about her powers?
Ela tá trabalhando de atendente, mano.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, how can I not? Not even fine food is enough to distract from the presence of a fine lady, eh?
Vai nessa.
I'm far more interested in getting her details than ordering any dishes. Hey,
You do it!
no. I think you should. Wait, she's coming.
Puta que pariu. Vocês estão fodidos,
What
meu
can I get for
avião.
you today?
Greetings, miss. I was just wondering if you'd be...
What would you like to order?
2 servings of more meat to go. Good chat. Bye.
Good chat, bye.
Shenhe!
Welcome. It's been a while. May I take your order?
Don't welcome us as guests and greet us as old friends in the same line. It's weird.
And this is?
This is Miss Xinyun.
Master?
Aê!
One does not recall ever revealing this form to you before. How were you able to ascertain one's true identity with such ease?
I've trained and lived with Master for more than 10 years. I would recognize you no matter what form you take.
Ah, tô falando, é a mãe, mano. Não tem o que fazer. A mãe tá feliz,
Is
ó, a
something
carinha de
the matter,
orgulho.
Master?
Ela tá feliz, pô.
Hardly. One simply learned of your employment from your letter and came to check on your well-being.
And check out the great food, too.
Indeed. It's almost lunchtime. My apologies. I'm still on the clock and can't talk for very long.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon, are you here for Shenhe? The lunch rush isn't in yet, Shenhe. So I've got things covered for now. Go ahead, sit down and enjoy some time with your friends. I'll let you know if things pick up.
Thank you, Chef Mao.
Cadê? Ah, ali no fundinho, tá.
It is just as one expected. The owner of Wanmin Restaurant is indeed a most reasonable and accommodating human.
Oi?
Still, the work here entails dealing with quite a varied group of people. Has this been difficult for you, Shenhe?
It's been manageable so far. I sometimes run into strange people, but I have figured out a way to deal with them.
Seems like you've been making progress. So by dealing...
First, I try to talk sense into them. If that doesn't work, I threaten them with violence. At this point, they usually decide they are in favor of a civil conversation.
É justo.
How should Paimon put this?
Oh, a sensible plan. One is gladdened to see you integrate so well into human society.
Tá bom, vamos com calma, né?
How have you been?
Simply marvelous. Though Mount Outsong has scarcely enjoyed your presence recently, one has hardly found the pleasure of one's own company to be lacking.
I see. Oh, just as expected of Master. I have missed Master quite a bit too. Even though work has been busy lately, I've already had a conversation with Chef Mao about taking some time off soon to visit Master.
Oh, you did? Do make note of such matters in your letters in the future. There's hardly a need to keep one in suspense.
Whoa. Her mood shot up just like that.
By the way, Master, since you are in Liyue Harbor, have you had the chance to visit Ganyu?
Indeed. She is similarly preoccupied with her work. There was time only to exchange a few simple pleasantries.
Ganyu told us the story of Cloud Retainer's name. It was amazing. We never knew how powerful she was before.
I see. In that case, allow me to also share a story about Master's...
Oh?
Oh?
Is that a problem, Master? I believe this to be a good topic of conversation.
No, not a problem. One was simply caught off guard. But no matter. Please, proceed. One is most curious to see how much of one's own conversational prowess you possess.
Master once participated in a race against Mooncarver. After Mooncarver lost, he insisted that Master's ability to fly gave her a natural edge in such a contest. In response, Master agreed to forego flying in return for being able to use one of her devices in the race. Mooncarver accepted, only to find Master with a brand new device on the day of the contest.
Huh. What kind of device was it?
It was a mechanical vehicle made out of iron. What was it called again? Oh, an electro-powered bicycle?
Oh, you refer to the bicyclical Thunder Flashmobile. One spent 49 days conceptualizing and crafting it. It need only be infused with adeptal energy, and it can cover thousands of miles in one day.
Eu quero um desse, pelo amor de Deus, adiciona isso no jogo, meu roi.
Mooncarver ever supposed he might best me in a contest of locomotion. Though he sprinted with all his might, he could barely keep up. Alas, the one flaw of my mechanism lay in its weakness against mountainous terrain. One was thwarted mere seconds from victory, when it was thrown off course and failed to make it across the final stretch. Truly a most unfortunate turn of events. Anyway, do go on, Shenhe.
Master, that was the end of that story.
Is that so? Huh. With you gone, one has seldom felt the desire to call upon those old fossils for another contest. What is a race without spectators, after all?
Have you been lonely, Master?
Direto ao ponto.
At one's age, entire human generations come and go in the blink of an eye. Even one's own self-directed musings can span several days and nights. 'Tis a most foreign sentiment. The mere mention of it is preposterous. What is the reason for that look upon your face?
Falei nada.
Nothing.
Falei nada.
Well, Paimon gained a lot of respect for you after listening to that story of you summoning the rain and everything. But all it took was a few words out of your mouth and it's like you're back to being that illuminated bird again. I was just a little bit confused. Which one of the two is the real Cloud Retainer?
To me, they are both, Master. One is the Master that's widely revered by the people, while the other is the Master that I respect and adore.
Huh. One finds oneself exalted yet again with sweet words of praise and flattery of a most extravagant nature. You chose to exalt one with your words, yet you refuse to grace Mount Outsong with your presence for any extended period of time. One would almost question the sincerity of your estimations. This is not to say that your words paint an inaccurate picture. One has always lived by a single ideal. Eschew all action and abide by no rule. One does as one pleases and speaks as one pleases. Others may critique or praise as they see fit. Yet one places little
She got like, what, 2 sentences of flattery from her disciple, and it's as if her ego is about to burst.
Do you have any empty tables?
Hey there, could we get another fish?
I'm hearing more guests come in. I should get back to work.
Alright, good luck with the lunchtime rush, Shenhe.
Mm-hmm. I'll try my best.
Ah.
So much yummy food! Paimon's gonna feast!
One is fond of all kinds of delicacies and delights in a multitude of flavors. The
Fair.
dishes here demonstrate no shortage of culinary skill. Their unique flavor profile has left one more than satisfied. In fact, one has been struck by quite the fit of inspiration. One has already begun to conceptualize the next generation of supreme cuisine machines.
Everything's so tasty! A bit too hot at times, but still super tasty.
I'm sorry, miss, but our tables are full.
Shall we try somewhere else, Granny?
But it smells so delightful. Can we really not eat here? My poor legs can't go on for much longer.
Well, you could always check with some of the other guests and see if...
Okay, I'll ask around. Excuse me. Would you mind letting us share a table with you? There are no empty... Ah, well, Paimon doesn't mind. What about you guys? Great! Thanks so much. Granny? Yep. Is there something wrong with that? No, Paimon's just a bit surprised. Yeah, a lot of people compliment Granny on her youthful looks, but she's actually much older than she appears.
Tá aí. Coisas ocorrendo aí, ó.
Why don't you take a seat?
Huh. Have we met before?
No.
Tis a fated meeting, then. Please, take a seat.
What would you like to eat, Granny? I can order for you.
I want braised earthworms. They always pop up.
No, not this again. Granny, there's no braised earthworms on the menu. Braised earthworms? Well, that sounds weird. Right, that's what Paimon was thinking. Help? Oh, do you mean with... Thanks, that's nice of you to offer. Granny has pretty bad dementia, so her memory's getting worse all the time. She's always saying things that sound kinda confusing. Actually, her memory's been bad ever since I was little. But it's gotten so bad lately that I even have to remind her who I am every morning. They died young. It's just me and Granny now. Oh. But it's okay. Don't feel bad. Granny loves me a lot, and I love her a lot too. Sure, it's hard at times, but you just gotta make the best of the life you've got. Wow. You're really tough for your age, kid. You're too kind.
And me?
You're tough too, Granny. Plus, you're really gentle.
Coitado.
And you're always there for me.
Yes, and it's hardly as if I forget everything. I still remember the important things. Wait, what was that really important thing again? Ah, I remember now. It was a dream. I had a dream where everything was dark.
Huh? That sounds super important.
It was just a dream, so I forgot about it. You know, I believe I've had this dream a great many times.
Wait, so you have a reoccurring dream where someone's talking to you? That sounds spooky. Oh, does that mean you're possessed?
Unlikely. Her eyes are clear, and her breathing remains calm and level. One sees no signs of possession.
Are you sure?
Who do you take me for? Is one not an adept? Am I not an expert?
Huh, you're right. Paimon almost forgot you're the expert. In that case...
Not anymore. Although, I have a sense that she looked rather like me.
A younger version of Granny? This is just getting weirder and weirder. What is going on here?
As one said, fate must have...
Are you sure? Paimon's Paimon.
Just Shenyun is fine.
Thank you all so much for offering to help. But first... Oh, we don't need any payment for this. Thank you so... You're welcome! But Miss Shenyun, what exactly can we do to help out? All we have to go off is that dream.
That is elementary. Since her dreams portray her younger self, then we shall retrace the steps of her youth. Once we have revisited those places, her memories will likely return.
Sounds like a plan. So, Granny, do you remember which places you went to when you were young?
Why, of course I do. The heavens above.
Okay, taking that as a no. Once, when I was really little, my dad told me that Granny used to be a martial artist heroine who saved loads of people from a disaster. If it's true, then maybe they wrote about it in the history books or something. A martial arts heroine? Oh, Shinto knows tons about Liyue's chivalric traditions. If anyone knows about the heroes of the past, it's him. Let's go find him at the Feiyun Commerce Guild.
Are you leaving already? But I'm still hungry.
I'll go order some food, Granny. If there's nothing on the menu you especially want.
It seems we must part ways for now. The Traveler and Paimon are bound for the Feiyun Commerce Guild, while Yuendai and Shuyu shall remain here and partake of their lunch. As for myself, I have matters to discuss with Streetward Rambler.
Streetward Rambler?
Ah, mandou me ping.
Oh, you mean Madam Ping!
Precisely. Let us meet at Yujing Terrace once you are ready.
Everyone, please, eat to your heart's content. Stay